Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm glad you're here. Today's video's a little different, like all of them kind of are. But first I want to say thank you to all the channel members. Thank you to all the people who subscribe to my channel. And thank you to anyone who takes the time to come in and watch my knife and EDC content. I really appreciate it. Today I am going to be talking about my favorite non-locking TwoSun knives. Now, before you just turn the video off, these are not all traditional modern slip joints. These are just non-locking TwoSun knives. So I find them very unique, very high quality in materials from, depending on the price point, and very, very economical. Guys, if you are so inclined and you haven't had a chance yet, if you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon, it also really helps me out and keeps you updated on the channel. So what we're going to do is we are going to start by talking about this little collaboration with a company called Rye Design. And this is the TwoSun TS362. What it is very, very thick, simple, basic knife design, but it's a double detent. So it's got a detent that helps it stay shut and it holds it open. So if I put pressure on the spine, it does not stay locked because it's not a locking knife. Very fidgety. If you treat it like a slip joint or a traditional or a non-locking knife and you don't use it for things that you shouldn't use a non-locking knife, or more importantly a fixed blade for, this is a very cool, unique, fun, and practical knife. It's got a very neutral blade style, kind of a, I don't know if you call that spear point. Guys, my paper's gotten all moisted up somehow, but anyway, M390 blade. I hit the choil there. Super slicey, super pokey stabby, and I'm not worried about it closing on my hand because I know it is a double detent. So I'm not going to be prying with it. I'm not going to be putting it through harder paces. I kind of look at it as a gentleman's folder, a whittler's knife, a carver's knife, just a really nice, unique little package. It's going to be a smaller size knife, as a lot of these will be. Next to the bug out, you can see it is quite a bit shorter than the bug out, and it's going to be a little bit bigger than the baby banter. So this little guy in M390 and in carbon fiber, I think it lists for 88 bucks at White Mountain Knives, and then you can use Javon 10 or another creator and get 10% off. About 6 1/4 inches with a little over 2.5 inch blade and about a 2.5 inch cutting area. The handle, again, is very neutral, and I say you have 3.5 inches to right here, which is where I like to have my hand because it keeps, if that's to shut, it's not cutting my hand, it's just going into the choil. So again, I feel the knife is very safe for me because I know it's not a locking knife, right? It is going to be a little bit thicker. I'm guessing this is going to be probably a 1/2 inch or maybe even a little more. 5.295 with a nice 0.1620 M390 blade stock. Neat little knife, collaboration with Rye Design, non-locking, TwoSun, kind of what I want to talk about today. And this is the TS362. So moving on, we come to a very unique non-locking knife. So when I first picked this up, I was going through my initial slip joint phase, and I thought this was a much smaller knife when I saw it on the website. However, I came to learn that it is a very, big, solid street cleaver. You can tell this has cut a lot of cardboard, a lot of packages. It is an amazing knife in 14C 28N, burlap micarta, a full tall flat ground blade that is slicey as anything in my collection. It's a combination of blade geometry and just the height of that blade. The point, whoops, is very slicey. It's got a little rounding area to it. I've used this knife very, very hard. It's got a very stiff spring, which means it's not easy to get it to snap to half stop, right? It's got a lot of play there. And also, if you've got your finger in that choil, it's catching right there. Now I say choil, but if you've got that finger in that spot, it's not going to close where the blade is going to impact your hand. Again, is this a knife I would recommend hard using or beating like I would maybe a fixed blade or a heavier locking knife? No. But for what it is, which is about a $44 folder from TwoSun, I picked it up at White Mountain Knives. It is a great knife. The spring tension's great. The walk and talk is nice. It's a solid knife. The burlap micarta is done very well. You've got this full, I guess that's a steel spring. Just a really neat package, a unique package, and it's under 50 bucks. So this is another non-locking knife from TwoSun, and it is the TS192. Now this is one of my favorites because it, to me, was so unique. And it's kind of a futuristic slip joint, for lack of a better term. This is a Mokhtar or night morning design. I think that's whose maker's mark that is on the blade. But this is an older TwoSun. This is the TS90. The TS90 is a full titanium knife with an M390 blade that is super, super slicey, super sharp. It's a flat grind, but it's not as full of a flat as some of the other knives, but I love the reverse tanto look. I love the way the micarta or the titanium is milled. I love the cleanness of the backspacer. I love the frosted or the powdered, if you want to call that a nail pull. It's got a very even walk and talk. I'd give it a 6-7 on the scale, so it's a very stable knife. Nice sharpening choil. Just a really, really pretty specimen. And probably the oldest TwoSun based on numbers in my collection. I'm a big fan of it. It's the TS90. These I think are in stock now. These TwoSuns are $88 before you put your Javon 10 or other creators code to save 10%. So I think for an M390 titanium slip joint, traditional modern folder, I think it's really kind of cool. So moving on, we come to, before we get to the last two really different ones, another one of my earlier slip joints that I picked up from TwoSun, probably my first one. This is the TS197. I love the look of this knife because I was early into my journey with TwoSuns. This is a long design in M390, but it kind of looked like a side buster style to me. I don't know why, but I also like the bone handle, how it incorporates what I think is this kind of hieroglyphic lizard and this dragonfly or bird that it's going after. Fantastic sharpening choil, very thin flat ground blade that is an absolute laser beam. I mean, an absolute laser beam. So you've got titanium liners, nice steel spring, M390 blade, when these are in stock, they are $88 before you put in Javon 10 or your other discount code. And you can get these on Amazon too. I'll put some links there. They take a little longer from Amazon unless it's one that shows that it's in stock, which most of these I think ship from overseas, so you might be looking at a week or two, but they are available. And I've heard you can get them on eBay. I just don't do a lot of trading on eBay with knives. That's just me. But this is the TwoSun TS197, a non-locking, fantastic, highly recommended by me, non-locking TwoSun knife. If you're looking at non-locking TwoSun knives, which I equate with an imported knife that really is a great value. So moving on, we come to a couple of knives. The last two are very unique. These are what I would call modern folders, double detents, that are inspired by traditional patterns maybe, with also just wacky stuff going on. I'm not exactly sure who this designer is. Whoops. I think it's got this X on the blade. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the maker's mark. And these knives, the one I'm going to show you afterwards, which is a different blade style, is the same designer. This one happens to be carbon fiber, a real light steel liner in there, very minimalistic. This knife is super light. And then you've got this S90V Bowie blade that is so thin you can literally feel your fingers through it. It is super, super slicey. Super thin. It's got that really high point. So, you know, it's not going to be an ideal detail cutter, but for what I use it for, which is just to carry and to cut open packages, I absolutely love it. This knife I will break the scale out for, and I haven't been doing a lot of size comparisons because all these little knives are going to be pretty close to the same size as the ones we were looking at earlier because they kind of fill that traditional space, and I'll lay them all out here for you in a second. But this one and the next one, this one being the TS241, the only complaint I have about this one is this flipper tab for some reason does not go back as far as the other flipper tab on the one I'm getting ready to show you, so my finger will not reach it comfortably to do a pullover flip. I mean, I can do a regular front flip on it, but it's a double detent, and I would love to be able to pull it over like the other one. Less than 2 ounces, 1.90 ounces, and I think we'll see that this is well over a 2-inch blade. 2 3/4 with a 2 3/4 inch cutting area. So just a super light, gentlemanly package. Again, if I hold it with 2 hands, I can easily get that flip. But this is the TS241. Its partner, its brother, is the TS244. Same designer, same maker's mark. This one is in M390 steel, where this one is in S90V. This one is a Wharncliffe. Every bit as much of a laser beam. Again, this one has a much more acute point if you're doing those detail cuts, but it's built on the same double detent. I love, love, love the way this knife lets that tab go back further. Can you see that right here? That makes all the difference in the world for me being able to easily manipulate that than this one, which I just can't quite get it because my finger's not long enough. So I'm back to doing some other type of opening, so it's just not as pleasurable to me. If you've got a longer finger and you can get your finger up to right here and hold it comfortably, you're going to be fine. I just don't feel comfortable getting my finger up that high, where here I just got to hit the back of it. Or, because this one has the blade groove, I can give it a middle finger flick. So this is the TS244, and I really, really like this knife. Again, same designer as the TS241, same basic layout in your nut pattern, your bolt pattern, the way it's built. One's M390, one's S90V. These are both $88 before you get into your 10% discount, which is kind of why I wanted to bring these to you. And I'm not sure which ones, if any, are going to be in stock today, but all of them are still showing in the catalog. And I know that if you put your email address in there, that they will notify you when they come back in stock. And they do come back in stock, because I've seen them come in several times and recommend them, and actually picked up another one that I gave away. But this I just thought might be a little different video. Y'all let me know if you're interested in it. I don't know how many people will want to watch it, but I thought it would be different, right? Looking at knives that aren't necessarily locking knives, but that are great knives. They're imported knives. They're made in China by TwoSun. They're all very unique. They all cut very well, and I'm a huge fan. Guys, thank you for taking the time to watch the video. I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, if you're still here and you hadn't had the chance, if you hit that subscribe button, really help me out. But more importantly, please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for that guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.